Hey, instructional designers. Today we're going to be talking about resumes. We're going to be talking about what is important to include in a resume, how to structure a resume, and what you should be thinking about as you're writing out items for your resume. I'm sure you're familiar with the general structure of a resume, but let's talk about what makes an instructional design resume perhaps a little different than what you're used to. Now, how you organize your instructional design resume, it is ultimately up to you, and you're going to find a lot of advice out there about it, and I'm going to give you some more advice. Your contact information should be available right there at the top, along with a link to your portfolio. I recommend including an education section and a skills section close to the top, and then really diving into your work history. In any resume, it's always important in the header or introduction section to make sure all of your contact information is available right from the start. I would also recommend including a link to your portfolio up there at the top. If the link is really long, abbreviate it. Make sure you use a link shortener so that someone wouldn't have to have the digital copy to be able to click on it. They could just type it in very quickly and go to your portfolio right away. A lot of employers are going to give an edge to candidates that have education in instructional design. That can be a certificate, that can be a master's degree. For that reason, I think it's important to have the education section close to the top of your resume above your work history. One of the things I think is really important and unique to an instructional design resume is the importance of showing off the skills that you are bringing to a new job. I like to organize the skills section by category. You might include software, soft skills, technical skills, maybe even languages. So under software, think things like the Articulate suite. Maybe you are really skilled at Articulate Storyline, Articulate Rise. You might also include video editing tools like Camtasia, or perhaps sound editing tools, or other graphic design or visual design software. You could even notate how skilled you are with each software. You could note that you're an expert, that you're proficient. Under the soft skills section, you might include items like really good communication. Maybe you are a good visual communicator. Maybe you are excellent at written communication. I would include things like project management here as well. As an instructional designer, having really solid project management skills, it's just so helpful to be successful in any given position. And it's something that a lot of employers are looking for. Under technical skills, you might list things like any programming languages that you know, whether you are familiar with how to use LTIs or APIs to connect various software packages together, whether you've been an administrator or have any administrative skills for any learning management systems, or perhaps you might list out the learning management systems with which you have experience, or any other content management systems would be a nice thing to include in that as well. Finally, as workforces become more global, more widespread, if you are familiar with any other languages, definitely make sure you make note of that on your resume. A lot of employers, a lot of organizations are looking to translate their training and their courses into as many languages as possible because they do have a global workforce. You can make a note of how fluent you are in each, but be sure to list those as well. When you are writing out your work or employment history, make sure that section is really organized and very skimmable. So what I like to do is actually bold each job title and employer so that anyone looking at my resume can quickly skim through, see some of the positions that I've worked. Just as when you are doing instructional design, you're writing learning objectives, for instance, that are specific and measurable, I want you to think about each bullet point under each work history item being something that's really specific and shows some kind of measure. Maybe I grew the training video collection by 20%. Perhaps I was able to increase profitability at the company by ensuring that the workforce was fully trained in their areas of expertise. One instructional designer job can be very different from another instructional designer job. It might be that in one instructional design position, you had a really strong focus on pure design and you weren't actually building out the courses yourselves, you're passing them off to a developer. In contrast, there could also be instructional designer jobs that you've held that you were the all-in-one unicorn. You did it all from the needs analysis to the design to the development to the assessment. To recap, when you are writing your resume and really customizing it for instructional design positions, there's several sections that you should be including. Be thoughtful about the header information at the top. You should be including your contact information and also your portfolio. The remaining 3 sections you should be including are your skills, your education, and your work history. Under your education, be sure to list the institution at which you studied and what specific degree or certificate you received. Under your skills section, you may want to divide it up into a variety of categories, including software, technical skills, soft skills, languages. And remember, in your work history section, think like an instructional designer. Provide information about what you did in each of your positions, but also be sure to provide something that's specific and measurable about what you achieved in that position that's unique to you and what you bring to the table. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your job applications.